What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to assemble this Farmertec 660 clone parts kit. And as you can see, I already have one here that I've already assembled. And there's a couple things I want to go over real quick before we put this one together. Just things that you're going to want to know about if you buy one of these and go to put it together. Number one thing, well, they're all of equal importance, but clutch, drum, sprocket, your bearing here, dude. Farmertec ships these out and they're plastic. They obviously don't last, so you're gonna want to go over to sawsalvage.com, get yourself one of these, the Duke's clutch bearing sprockets, or you can get an OEM one, whatever. But I just found this the easiest for me to just order these from the Dukes. Not sponsored or nothing, but that's what we got to do. All right, we cannot use this plastic clutch bearing. It's or crankshaft bearing. It's not gonna fucking work. Okay, so just toss that fucking thing. Okay, get yourself a metal one. Another thing, obviously this silver stuff I put on here. This is the coil that was in my kit, all right, and it worked, okay, until the heat shrink stuff on it. Now let me show you. I wonder if I can find in here. I actually bought another one because I stole the one from this kit for this saw. Basically, I just melted straight through the not fire protection. The heat shrink wrap stuff on it. Like you can see, this one actually has. This is from the Dukes as well. They have like this heat wrap, right, to stop it from melting. Now that seems like quality. Okay, the Farmertec stuff is junk. So you either need to get some aluminum heat resistant tape, right, which is what I got here, or buy a better coil. This one is from sawsalvage.com. So, yeah, that's another thing to pay attention to. You're just going to burn right through this one. Also, it's such crappy, the rubber is just junk. I'm not impressed with these coils at all. Third thing, timing key, all right? So when you go to put your flywheel on, obviously you got to use the timing key, put it in there so that your timing's all correct. I tried to use the one it came with, and it broke. All right, literally just sheared right off. And then I tried to put it back in because it was still mostly there, but it was sheared off again. Obviously that wasn't gonna work. So what I ended up doing is taking this screwdriver, using the Dremel, and making a timing key out of that, because this is actual good hard steel. The timing keys they give us are basically Chinesium, and when you go to pull your starter cord, it just boom pops it right in half. So there's your three things. Get yourself a new clutch side bearing. Do something about the heat shrink on the coil, because it runs right across the cylinder inside here, and it melts. And it melts, and then this one I taped it up, and this one actually doesn't work anymore because it's been melted too many times. So, and then timing key. And I'll show you how I'm going to make a timing key. I'm not even going to use the one they have. I'm going to make one for this one too. But this is going to be a long video. So skip around if you want to. I won't be ashamed at all, or I won't be offended at all if you want to skip around. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so this saw is also going to end up getting a full wrap handle. Where'd I put that? It's here somewhere. Oh, here it is. So instead of the half wrap, that saw over there has got a half wrap, or the one that I just showed you. This one, we're gonna put a full wrap on it, and oh no! Don't worry, I didn't scratch anything. Stuff's always hitting this car, falling off of the shelves and stuff. It's kind of annoying. I should really, I feel stupid putting the cover on it in the garage, but stuff is always smacking into it. So probably because I can see I'm pretty unorganized here. This saw is also going to be the one, it's going to get the full wrap and the 42-inch bar. So this one's going to be the big one. So all right, let's get all this stuff out, lay it all out, see where we want to start. All right, so here we go. We're going to start out with crankcase. Here's our little gasket. Don't want to screw that up. Here's our cylinder kit. This is just where I like to start because everything basically bolts onto this. So, got that. Got all of our gaskets. Now, we're going to be... I'm not sure where this goes. I believe it actually goes in... You know what? I'm not actually sure. There's going to be some things in this video. I'm not going to know what they do. This is obviously like heat shield. We might find out where this goes later. But as for right now, we're just going to put this off to the side. Sometimes they package things kind of weird. So yeah, I'm not sure where that's for. Let's see. So we got our exhaust gasket, base gasket. We got our center gasket, or whatever the hell, crankcase gasket. Here we have our cylinder. Now, these Farmertec cylinders, sometimes they don't come out super great. The castings aren't super awesome on them. Oh, we're also going to put... So these are Farmertec rings, okay? Farmertec piston rings. I bought a set of... These are caber rings, okay, for a 660. Let's see if there's any difference in quality, just visible quality, Farmertec versus caber rings. The gap on the caber rings is a little bigger, just a little bit. They seem to be a little thicker. Maybe that's just my eyes tricking me. I don't know. I just bought them because I wanted to see if there's any like visible difference in quality. They are certainly appear to be a different material. These are a little stiffer than these, I think. But either way, you can use either. The other saw's got Farmertec rings. We're gonna put caber rings in this one. So I'll put these Farmertec rings off to the side. But then we'll take a look at the cylinder, see how it looks on the inside. All right, so let's check, see how this cylinder looks on the inside. So we got a wrist pin. Here's our circlips. Right here in this bag. Piston. Looks good. Couple scratches on it, nothing bad. Seems pretty smooth. Looks good to me. Now cylinder. Let's see. It is possible that we're going to end up having to clean this up a little bit. On my other saw, I went in and cleaned it up a little bit. This one... what I'm doing is I'm feeling all these surfaces on the transfer ports and the intake, exhaust ports, just for anything that there might be like a casting defect that's going to catch a ring on it. And I'm actually not feeling anything. There might be a little bit right there. I'm going to knock that down with a Dremel. Just a tiny little bit of buildup right here. So I'm just going to take the Dremel of this real quick, kind of smooth out those ports a tiny little bit more. But this one's actually really not that bad. The one that I had before on that other saw is actually worse than this one is. So I'll be back in a second after I kind of smooth those out just a little bit. I'm not going crazy. I'm just going to kind of get rid of a little bit of the roughness, but this one's actually not that bad. Okay, so I just went through, just cleaned it up a little bit. Nothing crazy. Rinse it out with water. So we have no sharp edges anywhere. So should be good. It's not the prettiest looking cylinder. You know, you can get better looking aftermarket cylinders, but it does the job. Okay, so here's our crankcase. Let's take a look real quick. Split her apart. There we go. These bearings. So there's a sealed bearing on this side, which is not really, I don't know how Stihl does it, but sealed bearings down here, I don't know if I like that, but I also don't really know. This side's an open bearing, and the only reason I'm kind of worried about a sealed bearing is like not being able to get grease into it. Like this one will be able to get grease into it, or oil into it. This one's sealed. So yeah, it's really, oh, it just kind of is how it is. You could pop these out and put different ones if you wanted to, but we're not going to. So, alright, so we've got our piston, a cylinder. We're going to need to grab our crankcase, which is in the freezer right now. I put it in there just to make it a little bit easier to put together. Now, this is going to be the interesting part, is trying to get all this together without, or like trying to videotape it, you know what I mean? Like trying to videotape all this stuff and put it together. That's going to be friggin' super fun, I think, I guess. We need to find where our wrist pin bearing is. It's going to be somewhere, oh, it's probably on the crankcase actually, or on the crankshaft, hang on. Okay, crankshaft right out of the freezer, and it doesn't have the bearing, so I got to find the bearing. The bearing's in one of the other bags, I guess. So I'm gonna put this back in the freezer for now. Just, I don't want it to get warm. Okay, your bearings are in this bag here with the spark plug. As you can see, you got a metal bearing for your wrist pin, right? There's your wrist pin bearing. And then they also give you this plastic bearing for your clutch side. We're not going to use that. We're going to use our metal bearing, our this one here. Pretty similar looking. They're the same thing, or actually this one's, they're not the same thing. The hole's bigger on the piston ring, or the piston, whatever it's called, wrist pin bearing. Hole's bigger for that one. Clutch one don't fit. So, alright, throwing this piece of crap plastic one away though. Okay, let's start by getting our rings on here. Like I said, we're going to use these caber rings. So this side always points down where the brake is. And actually, sorry, points up. So we can get these on here without breaking them. Farmertec rings, from what I could tell, break pretty friggin' easy. Which is kind of why I bought these. But these seem to be going on pretty easy. Usually, I probably should have lubricated this before I did this, just a little bit with some oil, but we're definitely going to put two-stroke oil on everything before we, there we go. Before we actually assemble it, I'm going to lube everything up with a little bit of premix oil, just so everything's going together. For like initial startup, everything will be nice and lubricated. Okay, there's our rings on, and you got to make sure that they're with that pin, or else you'll never get it into the cylinder. They have to be lined up with those pins. So, okay, there's that. Let's go get our crankcase. All right, crankshaft out of the freezer. Let's see. Let's get our... So we're going to put a little bit of grease on this. Actually, we're just going to use 2-stroke oil. I was going to grease it, but there's really no reason to. Wrist pin bearing, just so it got a little bit on it. Throw a little oil on that. Get that in there. Get this through here. And then this is the fun part, circlips, all right? So, actually gotta do that afterwards, hang on. Put that in there, wrist pin bearing. So we gotta make sure this is going the right direction, okay? So your arrow is gonna point toward your exhaust side. And you can see this is your clutch side, which means that the front is that way. So your arrow's gotta be pointed that way with your clutch side on the right side. Or else your piston will be facing the wrong direction and it'll run like that. But you could catch a ring on one of the openings in the cylinder. So it's definitely not recommended. You definitely want to put it in the right way because it hides your gaps on your piston rings where there aren't any ports in your cylinder. So it hides them like to the right and the left of those transfers or whatever. So if you put it in the other way, you could, I don't know exactly, you could run into issues. So there's that. That's all together. We got to put our circlips in now, and these are kind of going to be a pain. This is like my least favorite part ever, trying to do circlips. You always end up losing one. Go flying across the room, then you never find them. These are actually like the more annoying style of circlips. There's another style that has kind of like a little hook on them. These are just regular C-clips, and they're like half, I don't know, like 3/4 of a C-clip or something like that. So these are the more annoying ones, and they do go flying. So we just need to make sure that they don't go, so they don't get lost. What do I need here? Screwdriver. It's also a really easy way to stab yourself with a screwdriver trying to put these in. So basically just need to get it in the groove on one side and force the other side in. Usually using like this hole that's right here in the piston here. But it's like the most difficult thing to ever record on camera, to try to fit this together. So I'll get one in on camera. I'm not doing the other one on camera though, because it's just going to be a waste of time. So these things really do not compress very easily at all. I can't do this on camera, guys. I'm gonna end up losing one of these, but yeah. It's almost in there. This is the point where it goes flying. Ready? Then I never see it again. Ready? Oh, all right. There we go. That one's in. Swear to God, most stressful fucking thing ever. What I actually end up doing is getting it in there most of the way. See if I can line this up good. Getting it in there like that. Grabbing my pliers here. Squeezing it. Getting the other corner in. Might be easier to do it this way. Come on, you. Getting it like this, so I can hold it with my thumb. Squeezing it. Getting it in most of the way. And then forcing it in. There we go. Circlips installed. Just make sure that they're not, you can make sure that they're fully in the groove on both sides. Make sure you can spin them. If you can spin them, if you can get your screwdriver in there and spin it, then you know that they're seated properly. Okay, so this is all put together. We're going to put a little bit of oil on our crankshaft bearing right here, just so that we're not putting anything together dry. We'll spin that around. Get it all nice and lubricated. All right. So that'll be nice and slippy for when it goes together. Okay, now next we have, oops, looks like I've been kind of crushing that a little bit. We have our crankshaft gasket. I'm actually gonna go throw this right back in the freezer just for another minute. Okay, so this bearing is sealed. So putting any grease or oil on that is not gonna do anything. But on this side, we can get some oil in this one. That way it's not going together dry. Nice and lubricated. So there's that. Now, we need to put this gasket in, which is going to end up going like this. Okay? And on either side of this gasket, we're going to put a little bit of Moto Seal, Farmertec Moto Seal. Let me find it. So Farmertec Moto Seal, it is fuel resistant, gasket maker, just to kind of help so we don't have any air leaks at all, because we do not want any air leaks whatsoever. We want this to all just be completely 100% sealed up. So both of these mating surfaces are going to get a thin layer of Moto Seal, and then the gasket's going to go in between the two when we put our crankshaft in. So just a little bit. We're not going to go nutty on everything with this stuff. All right, so a little bit of gasket maker on both surfaces. We got our gasket here. Make sure there's no dirt, debris, crap, junk, whatever the hell. Make sure it's all nice and good looking. And we're going to go ahead and put that on this side where the pins are to hold it in place. And this gasket maker kind of acts as like a glue as well. All right, and it will hold our gasket in place while we're trying to put it together, if nothing else. So adds just a little bit extra protection against air leaks, and it kind of helps us put it together. So get that all like that. Now we got to be careful and make sure that we're putting our correct side facing forward. So let's find the front of our crankcase. Now there's our center. This is our clutch side. Actually no, this is our flywheel side. Haha, woohoo! Flywheel side. Tell our impulse is in the back, meaning that our crank is going to end up facing this direction. So let's get that in there. Now, getting through your crank seals is kind of the hard part, which is why I put the crankshaft in the freezer. It might not help us super much, but it'll help us a little bit. So let's get this thing lined up. All right. Now we'll put our crankshaft in whichever side it fits easier, which may be the clutch side. We can try to just wiggle it in there a little bit as far as we can get it by hand. Get our other side in as far as we can get it by hand. And now we basically just need to continue to wiggle this thing until it goes together. There are like presses and stuff you can use. Actually, you know what? Before we do this, before we get too far. Now, there are presses, like I said. I did my other one exactly the way that I'm showing you right now. I did not use a press. I did not use any specialty tools. I just used my hands, and we might even end up going to the floor and giving this thing a quick pile drive, you know? So I can just tap this off real quick without screwing up the threads. I wanted to put a little bit of two-stroke mix on these surfaces before I put this in here, just for this reason that we're encountering now, which is stuff gets stuck together. Hang on. So, yeah, I want to put a little bit of two-stroke oil on these crank seals before we go. Fuck it, I'll put some on this bearing too. Who cares? It's not going to do anything, but get it mostly for the crank seals and mostly for the installation process. I want this nice and slippy, and just gonna use some oil. Make that easier. Protect the bearings, or not the bearings, protect the seals as well. If they're coated, they'll be protected better while we are installing our crankshaft, because these are dry, you know. You don't want to just go forcing through dry bearings or dry crank seals. You're probably gonna end up messing them up, ripping them, pushing them out. You know, give them something to be slippery with. And then we'll try this again here. Looks like we screwed our gasket up a tiny bit in the process there. Let's just fix that. Fix that before we go putting it together. All right, take two. So let's see, that'll be good. Okay. So clutch side, sorry, that's that way, and this way. Alright, so I'm basically just going to keep wiggling these and putting them together until they finally go all the way. It's kind of a pain, but it will go together. I'll probably go to the floor with a rubber mallet too and just kind of bonk them. It's very slowly going together. I can feel it just barely going down. It's just about down. Just needs a little bit of persuasion from the form of a rubber mallet. See, it went down a little bit more there. It's on the pins now. Hopefully you guys can see. It's on the pins now. So I'm just going to drive this home with the rubber mallet. Basically going to drive it home with the rubber mallet. Make sure it's on the pins. Make sure your gasket's not screwed up. Make sure your piston's out of the way. Careful not to break anything, but yeah, I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so we got our sides down together using the rubber mallet, whatnot. Let's just look at this other one so we can visualize what we're doing here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that go through the crankcase. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's 5 and 6? 5 and 6 are right back here. 5 and 6. So we're going to put Loctite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get those together. We're going to use these screws. They come in this bag. It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It had 8 screws in it. We're going to use 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're not torquing anything. We're just getting it as tight as I can with the Torx bit. And we're using Loctite 243 on all of our bolts. So here we're going to do cross pattern. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. And then those two, so that this is all down properly. When we're doing that, we need to make sure that our crank shaft is centered, because as you can probably see right now, it's spinning actually, but we want to make sure that it's completely directly in the middle and spinning freely. So if you put all those bolts together and this is not spinning, you have to stop, take them back out, make sure that this spins, or else your saw is not going to work properly, or at least it's not going to work for long, because you're going to have a lot of drag if this is not in the exact center of your crankcase. Right now it actually feels pretty good, but once I tighten it, it might not. So let's see. Okay, so we're together. You can see all of our moto seal looks to have worked, made a good seal. You can kind of see it as we put it together and then tightened all the bolts down. It definitely compressed, and you can see, some of it squirts out right there. So that means we should have good seal all the way around on everything with that gasket and our moto seal. Should be good. We have a little bit of two-stroke oil leaking out right there. That's probably not that big of a deal. I'm not going to worry about it. Just because, I mean, it's probably not ideal that we have oil next to our gasket, but it should be okay once it dries. Should be okay right now anyway. You can see our crankshaft is centered. If for whatever reason you put yours together and your crankshaft's not centered, you probably will need to take a rubber mallet, which is what I did just to get it a little bit better. Whack that side of the crank, or whack this side of the crank with your rubber mallet. And actually, oh no, we have screwed up our oil seal pretty badly. Right there. Uh-oh. That's not good. So I was actually able to take this pick, not using the pointy part, but using the side, and push the oil seal back in. And it looks okay now. So we did have a prolapsed oil seal, but it looks good right now. So we're going to continue. I believe that I think that we're going to be okay with that. So just something to pay attention to. If I had not seen that and kept putting stuff together, that probably would have failed. Still might, but I honestly think that we're going to be okay. It kind of just pushed right back in. So looks good to me so far. Okay, so moving on. I need a razor blade. Where is my... Here's one. So everything is going good so far. Crankshaft, nice and loose. We're going to go ahead and put the cylinder on now, which means we need to remove these little extra bits of gasket, crankcase gasket. Remove those little bits so they don't get in the way of our base gasket. And we're going to do the same thing with our base gasket as we did with our crankshaft gasket. We're going to put some moto seal on either side. Make sure the surfaces are clean, so we don't have any air leaks. Make sure both surfaces are clean. And then base gasket, which is the big one there. And then cylinder. And we may need to use a piston ring compressor. I don't believe I did on the other saw, but I do have one, so we will get to that in a second here. Okay, that surface is clean. We got some moto seal on there. Stick a little bit on the piston side, or the cylinder side. And this is the fun part, all right? This is like the part everybody wants to do, right? Putting your piston together. My least favorite part is circlips, but I think I might have put a little bit too much of this. Whoopsies, I was trying to go fast. It'll be fine. Let's make sure I don't have any... Yeah, I put too much. Just get it out of the fucking piston, so that we're not... Or out of the piston and then like away from the edges, so that we're not squirting like a freak ton of this stuff in there. Yeah, it's too much. It'll be okay. Swipe a little bit off. Use one of my expensive friggin' towels. It's the only thing I got near me. They're not even all that expensive, but they're definitely not for this. Spread that out. Nice thin layer. Nothing crazy. It's gonna get compressed. That's better. I had way too much before. Alright, that'll be good. That'll make a good seal. Base gasket. I believe that doesn't really go on any wrong way. Alright, so we'll just take it, get it over our piston without ripping it. You could put this on after or before you would do your piston and put all that together, but it's just easier just to go like that and stick it over. Okay, there's that. That's all down. Make sure it's all good. And now what we're going to do is take our cylinder. Spark plug goes in the rear. Okay, that's your decomp in the front. Spark plug in the rear. Exhaust out in the front. And we're going to make sure that our piston rings are lined up with our piston ring, like locator pin things, okay? And then we're going to throw this on there. This is the piston ring compressor. Get it all... Actually, haha. We're going to lather this thing up in oil first. We're going to lather this thing up in oil first. Get it nice and slippy. Get the rings nice and slippy. So it'll go together nice and easy. And then the rings won't be dry on startup either. Be nice and lubricated. Alright, now we can line these up. Probably don't want a crazy amount of oil getting on our gasket. Let's just get that off of there, because that'll cause a problem. Alright. Piston ring compressor on our rings. Get those into their grooves, like so. Give you a little bit of space on top to fit your cylinder over. All right, and you're basically just gonna get those compressed. Oh, that one's not lined up. Get those compressed, get your cylinder started. All right, and I put that down on the table like an idiot. A little bit of crap on it, hang on. Should be good. All right, get that on there, slide it down using your piston ring compressor. There is another tool that goes below that, which is this. I didn't use it though, I don't need to use it. The bottom ring is not in yet, hang on. Oh, bottom ring's actually coming out of the groove a little bit. Gonna have to try that again. One more try on that. Let's see. Get that back together. Just give it another go. The way that you're supposed to do it is to compress it, get it all together, put this on the bottom, get it down at bottom dead center, like so. That way you can just take your cylinder, hang on, get all that compressed, get your cylinder out, get it on there, and then just push it down like that. That's the way you're supposed to do it. I thought I was going to be able to get away with not doing it, but you can do this all without these tools too. You don't need these, but do yourself a favor. At least get yourself a piston ring compressor. Come on, get off of there. All right, there's that. Base gasket's in place. Check our motor seal, should be good. Let's go ahead and push this down. And now we've got to get... Oh no, I did the old-fashioned screw up. Put it on backwards. So we gotta do that again for a third time. But you guys get the gist. I'm not gonna show it again, but I put it on backwards, so. Okay, cylinder's down, facing the correct way this time. Let's see, these 4 black screws are cylinder bolts. All right. So we're throwing some Loctite on each of these and then driving them down kind of in like a star pattern, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that they're down nice and snug. Hoping I was just gonna be able to drop it down from the top, but nope. This one, how am I gonna get that in there? So I need to actually pick the cylinder up a little bit and put it in from the side. Like that. This one too. Okay. Let's get those tightened down. And then our cylinder's on. So I'm just putting everything together. I'm not torquing anything. I'm putting everything together as hard. So I'm just gonna tighten these up like just snug first. Then I'm gonna ream them as hard as I can get them. And they have Loctite on them, so they'll be okay. So if you're going to do one of these, I would recommend you getting this is a 360-in-1 screw and bolt kit for Stihl from Farmertec. Just go ahead and order one of these. I think they're like, well, if you plan on doing a lot of these, like I am, get yourself one of these screw and bolt kits. Just you'll be happy, because if you lose a screw or something, you know, you don't got to run to the hardware store and try to find it. You can just you probably won't find it, to be honest. You can just look in here. There's extra stuff, extra bar studs, extra. What I'm looking for now is a decomp delete. I believe there's another one of those in here, because I want to do a decomp delete. I'm not putting a decomp in this thing. Pretty sure there's one in here somewhere. Alright, so I found the decomp delete. We're going to go ahead and put Loctite on that. We're not putting a decomp in this thing. They leak. They're crappy. I don't like them. Also, these Farmertec decomps don't work. Alright, I'll just be completely honest. They don't work. You try to start your saw with the decomp pushed in, and the decomp does not, at least the one that I had, doesn't, it doesn't behave itself. So I'm just going to drop a little Loctite on that, and we're going to get this thing fully decomp deleted, because we don't need to be dealing with that crap, okay? Ever. No need for it, alright? Get that thing nice and tight. Loctite it in. Oh, that's tight, alright? And we're going to go ahead and put our spark plug in as well while we're here. If I can find that. Right here. So these say NGK. I don't know if they're real NGKs, but they say NGK. So I'm just going to make that gap a little bigger, and I'm going to put this in as well. Okay, so we're going to go and install our flywheel now, and I'm going to show you guys the timing key. I don't believe it's even in the bag with the flywheel. It's not. Let's find it, see where it is. So I can't actually find the timing key. I don't know what bag it's in, can't find it, but like I said, I'm not going to use it anyway. I'm going to make my own out of this actual strong piece of metal, or a piece of steel from the screwdriver, and I'm just going to cut it with a Dremel. and make it the right size. It might take me a couple tries, but this will be better than, this is a much stronger steel than the crap they give us. So I don't even care that I can't find it. I'm just gonna make my own. So I'll be back when I forge something here that fits. Okay, so I've fashioned what I believe will work for a timing key. A little bit smaller than I want it to be honest, but still stronger than what they provide us. So see if this will fit over top of it, which it did. Spins the crank. It's a little wobbly, but it'll that'll come out when we tighten the screw down. That's basically just got to stay there and not shear off. So I think it'll, see if I can get it back on. I think it'll serve its purpose properly. Okay. All right, flywheel on, timing key set. The nut for the flywheel is the next thing that we need. I'm gonna put some Loctite on it. Flywheel nut, flywheel nut, flywheel nut. Spend like the most amount of time finding the parts. It's a little black nut. I'll find it. Okay, so the other timing key was in this bag. I found it. I'm not going to use it. There's also this little screw here. I forget what that's for. We'll find out eventually. Make sure it doesn't fall out of the bag. But also, it wasn't a little black nut. It's actually a little silver nut. I think on the 200s, I built a couple 200s. I'm pretty sure it's black. But we're going to go ahead, put some Loctite on that. I'm going to use the impact. Put that on. I'm not going to like ream the fuck out of it putting it on with the impact, but I am going to put it on with the impact. Just a quick little, you know, quick little something. Just make sure it's seated good. All right. Okay, flywheel's on. You can feels good. So there's that. Next up's gonna be coil. And we're using our sawsalvage.com coil. Not a Farmertec coil. I mean, honestly, it could be a Farmertec coil, but who the hell knows? Just a Duke saw salvage coil. This wire here you don't actually need. It is already pre-installed in the handle that's your kill switch, so we don't need that. So we'll just toss this box away. In your handle, your kill switch is already installed, or your kill switch wire, it's already in there, so don't need it. So we're gonna get our coil in, and it's gonna go like so. Right here is where that wire connects, by the way, your kill switch wire. And you're gonna get your coil, feed it up through there. It's gonna go up to your spark plug. And with our coil gap, we just want to get it as close as we can without touching. Some people use a business card, some people use whatever else. Just put the magnet on the other side, make it easy on yourself. Get it screwed down, and just get your gap as close as you can get it without it touching the flywheel. Okay, coil's in. I am not going to run the coil through this hole. You're supposed to, I'm not going to, because I want it to actually be further away from the cylinder. I don't want it to be right up against the cylinder. All right, I want it to be further away if I can. I'm not running it through that hole. Last time I did that, I melted through this. So I might even wrap this in a little bit of aluminum, just to be sure, because I don't want to have to deal with that again. So don't run it through there. You can, but you're probably gonna melt it. So then we're pretty much done on this side. I can put the recoil on, and we can go to the clutch side. So just kidding, I can't put the recoil on yet because we obviously need to hook the coil up to the handle, and that's not going on for a minute. We're going to do the other side now. Clutch, chain tensioner, chain brake. So we'll start with chain brake. Or no, we'll start with oiler, probably. Oiler, chain brake, let's see. Okay, we'll start with the oiler, I guess. So oiler, oil filter, oil hose, okay. These all go together. And then make sure that it's not clogged, which it's not. Oil filter goes into the hole right here. Give it a quick pop right through. And then try to get it so it's facing that way. And then find a pick somewhere. Get it nice and... Don't go poking holes in it, but you want to get it down there. Seated. Usually I could use a screwdriver or something. I don't want to poke a hole in this. That'd be bad. Use this end of it too. Ooh, I went through. I don't think I poked it, but almost lost my pick in there. Okay, that's in. And then you also have this tiny little rubber bit that goes in this hole. Like so. And then your oiler is going to go on with the adjustment thing facing downward. Alright, so it's going to go on like this. So then you have your pickup for your oiler here. Or no, sorry. That's probably running out to crankcase pressure for impulse or something. I actually don't know what that's for. Oh no, sorry. That is going up to your bar. That goes up to your bar. This goes down like that. And we're gonna need to put our worm gear in too. Worm gear is gonna go in first, I believe, actually. Actually, no, it goes in now. Yep, it goes in now. Alright, so there's your oiler. Installed. Make sure it's down all the way. And then we've got to put our screws in it. Make sure this spins freely. May even put a touch of grease on here, just so that everything's nice and lubricated. Okay, oiler's in. Make sure you screw this all the way down to the left, because you don't want it to be popped up when you go to put the clutch on. So screw it all the way down to the left, as far as it'll go. And then you get your clutch. She just goes right on top, screws over top of that. I'm gonna give it, actually I can't even get the impact on there, so yeah, usually I use a piston stop for this. I already put the spark plug in though, so I don't really want to do that. Damn, I should have thought of that before I put the spark plug in. But my impact's not going to fit on that now. Alright, hang on. I'm just going to snug that up somehow. Okay, that's tightened up. I went on the other side and stopped the crank from spinning and then put that down. Okay, clutch bearing. So, again, not using these, not using these plastic one. We're going to use the metal one. Could you imagine that? They give you a freaking plastic. Can you imagine that? That's ridiculous, right? So, metal. That's actually a little bit wiggly. Why is that wiggly? That's a little wiggly too, actually. That's really wiggly though. Is that I don't know, this one's wiggly too. I don't like that. I have another one. Is this any better? Nope. Huh. I don't know why that's wiggly. Whatever, I'm putting it together anyway. Throw some grease on it. I don't know. I don't like the tolerances in that, actually. It's a little bit wiggly. Not a big fan of that. All right. Whatever. Could be worse. It's not that bad. Find our oiler. Make sure that this is lining up with your oiler. Why is it not going down? There we go. All right. Feels snug now that that's on, though. All right, it's probably okay. Now, the weird thing about these, okay, is that they have this strange washer setup. And I don't really like it very much because you have, it's like a washer. So this goes like this, and then that goes like that. And then this goes in here. I don't like this big washer. It's annoying. And actually, does that big washer go? Does it go in here? I think it does. I think that actually goes like that. Let me check. All right, so this is gonna go in how we had it. Clutch drops down onto the oiler. Sprocket. Then that thing. Then this thing. And then our C-clip. Now, I hate this thing. Go like that? Yeah, it goes like that. Okay. It must. It has to go like that. That's the only way that it gives you enough space to get this on. Alright, let's get that on there. It's not even in the groove. Hang on. Okay. She's in the groove now. If that's not how that goes, I don't know how it could go if that's not how that goes. Let me know. How's that look? I have no idea. Alright, I just checked my other saw, and this is how I did it on my other saw. I put it like that. Is that correct? I don't know. These things don't come with instructions. You can look it up on the internet, and some people don't even have this metal thing at all. They don't even show it. That can't be right. As long as it goes together and it's snug, but like... There's no way that's right. And that doesn't work because you can't put that on. So where does this thing go? It's got to go like that. I don't know how the hell else it would. I checked my other saw and I don't have this piece. Whatever. We're gonna forge ahead like this. Okay. The rest of, or sorry, I was gonna say the rest of the oiler, but it is kind of it's chain tensioner. So all your chain tensioner bits are in this little bag. And they're gonna go together like so. This guy here goes in this groove. Whoopsie. How's that go? All these little pieces. It's gonna go like this. Maybe not. I guess it has to go upside down. A lot of these things you can just kind of figure out as you're doing it. Alright, so that goes in like that. This little O-ring doesn't go in there. Must go here. Over the top of that. This plastic bit, let's see. It's gonna go in that hole like that. But first, we gotta put this on here. Alright, so I believe it goes O-ring. No, O-ring probably goes after that. Gear, then O-ring. This bit and this bit go together like this. Whoops. Which probably means they screw in the other way, like this. No? Oh, is it reverse threaded? Okay. It's interesting. Or it might not be, I'm just kind of stupid doing it backwards. Oh, it appears to be reverse threaded, actually. Sorry, you guys couldn't even see that. That faces upwards, that goes in there. So this needs to get screwed in more. That's gonna go in there like that. That's gonna go like that. Actually, that's backwards. Has to be backwards. Must go like this. Fit down in there. With this metal bit going like that. Okay, so plastic bit. Wonder where that O-ring actually goes. I don't think it goes in there. It's not really the right size for that. That goes underneath there. Plastic bit goes first. That. Oh, does this go underneath? I don't think it can. We'll figure this out. That definitely goes like that. And this definitely goes here. It's just what order do these go in? Probably like that. Oh no. Before I put that all together, I'm going to grease it. And this slide pin. Or whatever it's called. So it'll be nice and slippery. And then we'll put this metal bit. And then this plastic bit. Like that. And then this piece, like that, to hold that in place. Don't know where the O-ring goes still. Something tells me it goes in there, but it doesn't fit. So maybe it goes in here, like that, like fits down in there. I think this is just oil to come into here to lubricate this. Not sure. I have no idea what that O-ring's for. But this screw absolutely goes right here. Throw just a tiny bit of Loctite on that too. Really don't need it on that. But why not? A smaller screwdriver. Alright, up next. So change engine is done. Sorry that this isn't like the best view for you guys. So here you can see it. That's what it looks like when it's finished. Let's see. I'm gonna do bar studs next, and I'm gonna do this thing. So you got this plate, obviously, that goes here. This is for your air filter, so we're not gonna use that yet. And here's our chain brake stuff. In the bag that also has your timing key, there's another little screw. That is for... Also, if anybody is watching this and they have like little tips and tricks for people in the comments, go ahead and leave them. If I'm missing something, or if I don't say something, or if I say something wrong, just let me know. It's not really that big of a deal. How does this go? All right, that goes like that. This tiny little screw is for there. Okay, so let's get that all put together. Throw a little bit of Loctite on that too. Make sure you use Loctite on everything, because there's really no reason not to. Just go ahead and do it. So we'll get that in there. Then we'll do bar studs. So actually, before we do bar studs, just in case this thing's in the way, we're gonna do chain brake. So arguably one of the most annoying parts to do, but because there's so many little parts, and then they're all like spring loaded, so shouldn't be too bad though. All these tiny little parts, and they're all spring loaded. So make sure our bag's empty. All right. So chain brake. Main components is you got your thing that grabs your clutch, you got your spring, and you got all these linkages. All right. So we may have to put the chain brake actually on the saw to do this, but let me see if I can get you guys a better angle for this. Okay, chain brake is in there. This thing goes, or I already put this like little piece in here. This spring is going to go on this little tab right here. It's going to go around that and then into here. Like that. Like that. And then this piece grabs this, goes here, goes like that. Goes like that. All right, so there's all that crap. And then the larger of the two E-clips, actually, I think they're supposed to be the same size, but this one just is big for whatever reason, so I'm going to squish it a little bit. Okay, I got an E-clip on there. Make sure it's not going to come off. I don't know why this one's a little bit stretched out. It wasn't, it was just like that. It was just stretched. Oh, I broke it. No! Just went and stole this from my other kit. There. I don't know why that one was stretched out, but it was. Spring kind of grabs that. Comes over here. It's kind of a pain to get that over. But it will go. Hang on. Screwdriver instead. Smaller screwdriver. Or at least a different screwdriver. There we go. There's that. Now, that chain brake is engaged right now. So, let's find our brake handle. See how this goes on. So this is going to go down in there somewhere. I believe it's going to go on that down below underneath that metal piece. So this needs to be up against that. Can you see that? This little cam needs to be on that metal piece, that metal cam piece. Okay, it's all together. You can see that's how it all goes. The black bar from the linkage thing here runs into here, into your chain brake handle. Chain brake runs off of that. Right now it's disengaged. Hang on, I need two hands for this. Disengaged, engaged. Disengaged. So that's exactly how that's supposed to work. We can do bar studs now that we're not in the way. I did have to steal both of those E-clips from my other one, so it looks like I'll be buying another Farmertec chain brake. But is what it is. So these long side go in first, okay? You put short side in first, you look stupid. Long side goes in first. These both get Loctite on them. And actually, before I do that, yeah, see, this has to go on first. Metal plate's got to come back off. Which is why I didn't want to put the bar studs in first. Because that's got to come off. This goes on. Those are going to be likely these screws here. They're small. So it might be kind of confusing as well, finding out which screws go where. But once you just start doing it, you're like, oh yeah, that screw goes there, obviously. Yep, that screw goes there, obviously. And it's pretty easy to figure out where stuff goes. And if you accidentally screwed up, get yourself one of those big kits I showed earlier that has like a whole bunch of each screw. That way, if you put something in the wrong spot and it fit, and then it turns out, oh, it wasn't supposed to go there, you have extra screws and you can just grab one. That's probably my biggest piece of advice. There are no extra little mini E-clips though. I'll have to buy a new whole chain brake assembly when I go to do that, but that's all right. All right, bar studs now. That's all together. So, like I said, long side goes in first. Found that out because I put the short side in first on my other one, and then I had to take them back out. So how I do bar studs, get them in by hand, throw your nut on, and then tighten them with the nut once you get them all down by hand. Or at least as far as you can get them by hand. You can even throw one of these on there. Just get them good seated in there, really nice and deep like, right? All right. You don't want these coming out, so. And you gotta get the bar nuts back off, which is just do them like that. Hopefully you're just screwing the nut back off. Oh, and I'm not. I screwed the whole fucking thing back out. Damn it. Alright, that's a pain in the ass. So I got one in. The other thing you can do is wait for the Loctite to set up and then take the nut off. But yeah, this one came out. This one I got the nut stuck on. So I'm not going to wait for the Loctite to set up, but you can if you aren't impatient like me. I'm going to find a fucking socket for the impact and impact it off, but it'll be fine. All right, muffler time. Here's your muffler bolts. Muffler goes on first through here. I'm not going to take the baffle out. I might go back, take the baffle out later. This. But I'm not going to do it right now. Don't feel like doing it right now. Muffler's going to go like this. So you've got 4 bolts. There, 2 of them are a little longer. Those are the ones that go in first. All right. So we'll Loctite the 2 long ones. And those each go in these far back holes. If I can get them to line up. At least I thought they went in there. It's not going in though. Let me see. These go here? Alright, those go there. So we actually need the smaller ones. That's weird. Yeah, alright, smaller ones going first. I would have thought the big ones would have went first. Don't forget your exhaust gasket first. I almost just put that on without putting my gasket first. Alright, muffler's on. Now, rear handle is going to be our next thing. This is going to be a multi-step process, kind of, because it goes together. Got to hook these wires up to the coil. We also need to get our intake boot right now put on, and then we got to do all of our anti-vibe stuff. So it's actually starting to look like a saw now, you see, but we got to get intake boot, anti-vibe, got to plug this in. It's about time for all that. This is going to have to actually go underneath the coil wire. That's got to go right there. I got to screw that in, so it is grounded. So we'll do intake boot first. It's not too hard. Throw a little oil in it, make it slippery. Easier to get it on if it's got oil on it. We're also gonna have to find our impulse line right now. So let's find that. It's probably in the same bag. This is fuel line. Where's impulse line? Is impulse line... Maybe this is impulse line. And this is fuel line here. Yeah, okay, this is fuel line. It's already in here. So, this is impulse line. That's going to go through that hole right there. This little hole. Intake boot. It's going to go on like this. Make sure that it's the right way. Go like that. There's a hose clamp around here somewhere for it. Once we get it on all the way, there's a hose clamp right here in this bag. There's also 2 more gaskets for intake purposes that we'll put on in a second here. But this has to go on there. Make sure it's seated all the way, fully, all the way around. And give this a go. Tighten that up on there. And intake boots on. Slide a undercarriage on there. Get this through here. Let's get our impulse situated right through this here hole. Give ourselves a quick pull with the pliers there. If I can get it on there. Come on, come on, there we go. Get that popped through. Get our intake boot also popped through without poking any holes in it. Be nice if I had some needle noses, but I don't. Oh, I poked a hole in it. Woo, baby, that's not good. That's not good. I think we'll be okay still. I poked a hole in it in a spot where it's not really gonna matter. Come on now. Come on, get yourself through. Don't make me poke any more holes in you. There we go. That's through. Hopefully that little hole I put in it doesn't really make a difference. Now we got this. Gasket goes there. And this goes right in the middle of that. Kind of holds it in place. Like that. It's kind of a weird thing, but that's where it goes. So I'm just gonna finish up this carburetor part before I go doing any anti-vibe stuff or whatever. So choke, it's right here. It's your adjustments. Throttle's gonna have to get hooked into there. Impulse and then fuel inside, or fuel intake is right here. So let's get this on to the studs. Come on now. Get on there. Alright. Impulse first. Then fuel, or then throttle linkage. Then fuel line. Do it in that order probably. Okay, carburetor's all hooked up. Next is this piece. Kind of comes over and pops in. Alright. And then you have this, which is your air filter stud thing. Goes on like so. Like that. Alright, and then you've got these two little nuts that hold that down. It's probably 5/16 if I were to guess. Yep, 5/16. You want to get these tight, because this is what's holding on your carburetor. It's what's holding everything together, is these two bolts. So this is probably like the most important part of the carburetor install, is getting all of this together and snug. Obviously it's all important, because without any of it, it doesn't work, but these have got to be tight. Be nice if I could get them even started. I feel like that's supposed to be like, these holes are not cut properly, it feels. That's supposed to be able to fit in there, and it doesn't. Unless I really force it in. There we go. Alright, that's good. I don't know what these washers were for. They're not for that. Not a big deal. Don't put Loctite on these. You don't need it, but you want them tight. And you definitely don't want Loctite on them, because you're gonna end up having to take them off if you ever have to do carburetor work or anything. So no Loctite on these. I'm not tightening them all the way on camera, but just tighten them up really snug. Okay, that's on there nice and tight. Next you've got this thing. Some people don't use it, but it's to stop your saw from backfiring and shooting flames out of the carburetor and setting your air filter on fire. That's what that's supposed to make not happen. Run it if you want to, run it, or don't run it if you don't want to. I'm gonna run it. Air filter. So I probably have a nut laying around somewhere for that. I don't know where it was or what it was part of. Should be like a wing nut, but I didn't see one anywhere. So I'm just gonna grab a nut out of my box here. Oh no, haha, sorry. It's this. It's this. No wing nuts for us. We have another piece of plastic. Whoops, that's broken. Look at this pile of crap I got over there now. Air filter cover. Goes on like so. Yay! Forgot to put this on. Goes right here. Just a rubber bit. I don't know what that part of the carburetor does, to be honest. Oh, sorry. But that goes there. So basically all we have left is a whole bunch of like body mounts. And does that screw into anything? No. So we've got a whole bunch of anti-vibe mounts left. And I feel like if you've gotten this far in the video and you're building your saw and whatever you gotten this far, you can probably figure the rest of this out. It's literally just like some anti-vibe mounts. Like you just figuring out where they go, right? Like that one, looks like it fits there, right? So get yourself some oil and lube it up. Now you're gonna want to use all self-tapping plastic screws for these. They look like this, okay? Get your body mount that looks like the right one. Pop it in the hole where it looks like it fits. All right. You might need to like really push it to get it to go in, but you can lube up your hole even better if you want. I might need to like put a screwdriver on it and push it. Something like this. Something bigger than that maybe. Kind of just fell inside. Or I just need more lubrication. It's really possible here. Don't be afraid to just oil the hell out of it. It's really not going to hurt anything. If anything, you're going to try to put these together dry and you're going to be fighting it and you're going to be, I can't get them through. Let's oil it up. Of course, the first one I try to show you guys doesn't want to go. Hang on. Okay, so I got that together. I just needed to stand up and do it. I couldn't really do it sitting down or trying to record it. Throw a little bit of that Loctite, residual Loctite. Ah! Fell down in there. You're pretty much just finding where do these fit, you know? Where do these fit? And then you're putting them there. We're going to put the handle on last. It's going to be our last step. But find out where it fits. Grab your T27. Get your hole lined up. Wherever it may be. And you're just screwing them in. It's just plastic. Just going into plastic. So you don't want to go crazy torquing it, but you want it to be snug and you want to have Loctite on it. But just don't get it to a point where it's tight and then, like, once the bushing starts spinning like that, like, you can go a little more. That's as far as I'm going. I'm not gonna torque the hell out of these things, you know. And then you can find whichever plastic cap is going to fit whichever bushing you're installing. There's 3 of those, so we're really down to the wire here, guys. There's 4 of them. It's kind of like, at this point, everything is just going to go together. Whatever's left, it's pretty obvious how it goes. I mean, to me, it's kind of obvious how all of it goes together. I don't know why. You build one of these, build 2 of these. It's pretty simple. Once you realize, like, oh, everything only goes in one spot, and if you find the spot that it goes in, you're pretty much golden, you know? Like this big anti-vibe. Where's that go? Not that one. Goes under here. Underneath that, this metal thing. I'm just gonna bend that. Whoops, sorry guys. Forgot to put the anti-vibe in first. It'll bend back down. I would not have done that on the top, but on the bottom it doesn't really matter. Find yourself another screw. Get that one in. And so on. The only one that's going to be weird is this one. Goes up top here. Right there. And it's kind of going to be weird to put that one in, but you'll see when you get to it. Here, I'll show you this one. The weird, tricky one. The other ones are all the same. So, but this one has to go in like this. Screw this in here. And then you take two of your... Now these aren't plastic screws. These are actually regular bolts for these ones. But they go in here and there. I honestly don't know how the hell I'm going to get that in. Because it's behind this piece of metal, or this piece of plastic. So how the hell am I going to get that in there? I don't remember how I did that. Maybe I did, maybe you put that in before you freaking put the plastic on. Like, put this anti-vibe in before you put the cases together, because I'm sure I'll be able to still get them in, but if we should have screwed that into the metal before we put all the plastic on. I don't remember running into that last time, so I must have done it properly last time. But I'll still get them in. So you can actually just stick your T-handle in there, torque it over, and you can still get to these. So it's not a big deal. Woo! My other saw didn't come with this plastic piece, so that's kind of nice. I got it with this one. It's just like where the number plate goes. Unless I missed it in my other kit, but I don't think I got it with my other one. Try to get the spark plug in here. I don't like how the spark plugs feed on these freaking saws. It's like this cord needs to be longer, and it's so close to the freaking cylinder. I don't like that at all, how freaking close that is to the cylinder. It's like bad. Which is why I wrapped it in freaking aluminum, but I was thinking it might have to go in this channel here, but it won't reach. So I don't know. There, that's on. All right, we're literally like just a couple screws away. I'm not gonna put the side cover on, clutch cover, because I gotta put a bar and chain on it and everything like that. So for the purposes of today, I'm not dealing with that. I'm gonna throw the I'll throw the inside dog on. Use Loctite. If you've made it this far, you can figure that out. So literally, gas, oil, put the side cover on, the flywheel side, and 3 screws. 1, 2, 3 to get this top piece on. Put the air filter back on, and then we're gonna fire it up. I think you guys can probably figure it out from here. It's really, really simple stuff. So, all right, let's go. For your side cover here, for your oh, what the hell is it called? Flywheel side. This big long one goes in your handle. All right. They're all in the same bag. And the big long one goes in your handle. Oh, I thought that was a crack. It's not though. Don't tighten this too much. Loctite it, snug it, stop. Do not tighten that too much. You will strip it and you will hate yourself because you can't fucking fix it if you strip that. Okay, we're all together. They sent me 2 fuel caps instead of a fuel cap and an oil cap. So the fuel cap's smaller than the oil, or the oil cap is smaller than the fuel cap. So that's kind of annoying. I had to go bust into that box over there that has some, thankfully that kit, you know, it came with a fuel cap and an oil cap. So I need a oil cap. I need a new chain brake for when I go to build that one. Just to get those little C clips, or little E clips. But, I spilled gas everywhere for a second on accident. I didn't have any gas, so I had to pour it out of that saw into this saw. So I made a mess. I'm gonna dry it off and we're gonna see if it'll fire. Okay, first start, right? Hopefully first start. Only thing to really be worried about is if the timing key is gonna blow up on me again. That happened the first time I built that other saw. So we're gonna give it full choke, and we're just gonna start pulling her. Hope she goes. Keep in mind I deleted the decomp, so let's see what happens. You're gonna fire it up, so look at that, success, right? Take choke off now. It's about to go. So it's running, boiler's working, I can see it leaking. That's why I didn't put the side cover on. It just died. Hopefully it didn't just die because I tipped it on its side, because that would be an indication of an air leak. I'll see if it'll restart. So clearly it needs to be tuned. It's running really rich, and it's running really rich obviously as well because of all the assembly oil that I used putting it together. But yeah, it runs, it idles, it needs to be tuned. We're not gonna do that right now, but yeah, if this video helped you guys build your 660 clone, let me know. Anybody has any questions, let me know in the comments. Anybody has any comments about it, let me know in the comments. Anything that I might have done wrong. I found an E-clip. I was looking for that. I still need to buy Actually, I might be able to just use this E-clip to go to like a store and try to find another E-clip. But yeah, oiler works. It runs. Hopefully nothing leaks. Gas tank doesn't appear to be leaking. That's oil right there. So I'm going to dry it all off. Hopefully it doesn't leak. This cap might be leaking. It most likely is leaking. I think that cap's leaking. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. Another 660 built. Let me know, comment section, what you think. See you guys later.